For this week's lesson, we're going to solve problems using data represented in a bar graph or a dot plot. And we're going to compare things between different people or different groups. And first of all, you'll collect data, and then you'll display that data on a bar graph or a dot plot, whatever you choose. So I started out here with a bar graph. So I interviewed 11 different people, and I asked each of them this question: would you rather have 500 tarantulas crawling around in your house or 1,000 crickets jumping around in your house? And then I titled my graph Tarantulas versus Crickets. I drew a tarantula at the top, and then I labeled it down here. I have a cricket up here. I labeled it down here at the bottom. You always have to label so that you know what you're talking about. And then I used the lines on this paper to divide it up into numbers. Since I interviewed 11 people, I went ahead and numbered it to 11. And then these are my results. So the purpose of this bar graph is to see how many people prefer tarantulas or crickets. And you can easily look at the graph and see that more people, even though it's just one more person, prefer crickets to tarantulas in their home. You can do any kind of bar graph, concerning whatever question you have. You could say, do you prefer the Dallas Cowboys or the Houston Texans, and label it like this. Do you prefer red or blue? What flavor of cookies they prefer, or any number of questions like that. So this is how I did this. That would be one way that you can display the data. So on this page, I meet with my family every Sunday evening on Zoom, and so I just wrote down the names of everybody who showed up for our Zoom last Sunday night. So I started out with my name and listed everybody who was there. And then I counted the letters, the number of letters in everyone's first name. That way I didn't have to interview people. So if you don't have a way to interview several people, this is something you could do without interviewing anyone, and you can still compare the data here. So I started out with myself, my husband, my son, and on down the list. I took those numbers because there are 6 letters in my name, 3 in my husband's, so I just listed them down here. 6, 3, 4, 4. These numbers are represented right here. Then at the bottom here of my page, this is going to be a dot plot now. So I have the largest number that I have in my list here is 6. So I went ahead and started my line here with 0 and went all the way to 7. So the way that a dot plot works is I'm going to start out with this number 6. So I will go here, and I'm just going to draw a dot right there under 6 and mark that out. Now I have 3, so I'm going to start right here. I have to start at the same place, and you'll see why. I wouldn't start down here with this one if I started there. It has to be even across. Mark that out. So I have a 4, draw a circle there, mark it out. Another 4, mark it out. A 5, another 5. Here I have a 6. I have a 5, a 6, a 5, and a 3. So these are all evenly spaced, and so I can just look at that dot plot and tell that the most common number of letters in a first name in my Zoom family would be 5, and then followed by 6 letters and 4 and 3 letters. So your challenge is to create either a bar graph. You can use this question, you can use any question that you think of. And this is an example of how you'll create that. You don't have to draw pictures at the top. I just did that to make it a little nicer for you to see. Or you can do a dot plot. And if you have a dot plot like this, or any kind of a graph like this one, I gave it a name. This one, I need to name it also. So here's my dot plot, and it is number of letters in first names. That's the title, and here's my data, and I can look at that easily and see the results. That's the purpose of a graph or a dot plot.